In this video, we need to make sure when we fill all of this information and hit the create button, it takes us back to the page. But before that, we need some validation. As you know, name was a required property. So if you hit create before pressing the name, we want to see the error message right here. We'll do all of that. Let's stop the application and let's go to the page model. Right here, we have the onGet handler. But when we hit the submit button, we will be posting data. So for that, we need a post handler to retrieve that. So we'll create public async and task. This task will be of iAction result because we'll be redirecting to a new page. And the handler name will always start with on. And what is the handler name? We want a post handler, so it will be on post. When this will be posted, what will be passed from this Razor page? We will be passing a book object. So for that, we'll retrieve a book object and we'll call this book obj. Now, rather than getting a book object like this, we already have a book right here. We can use the exact same property. Rather than writing this, ASP.NET Core team has given a property binding here where you have to write bind property. Once you bind the property, it is automatically assumed that on the post, you will be getting this book right here. So that way, all you have to do is right here, you can check if model state dot is valid, then proceed further. Else, if it is invalid, we want to return back to the page. I'll explain you what model state is, but hang with me right now. If the model state is valid, we want to add the book to database. Adding that is really simple. We can use the _db. In here, we have the book and we have an add async right here. What is the parameter? We want to add the book. We just do await here and this will work. After we add the book, we need to save changes to the database. Right now, this book has not been added to the database. It is just added to a queue, which will be eventually pushed to the database when we type the command _db.save changes asynchronously. Only when this command is executed, then the data will be pushed to the database. And once the changes are pushed to the database, all that is remaining is return. We will redirect to a page, and that page will be the index page. This looks good. Let's run our application and see this in action. So we'll go to book. We'll try to create a new book. And let's hit the create button. Great, you can see the book has been created. Now let's try to create a new book and hit the create button. You see, nothing happens. If you type name here and hit create, it gets created. But if you try it without name, it won't be created. And that is because name is a required property. What is actually happening is if we add a debugger here, and if we go back and try to hit the create button, the control goes back here. And let me add few more debuggers, hit continue. The model state, if you hover, is invalid. What is not valid? If you go on model state, you will have to go to result view, and right here you will see the name is invalid. And the reason it is invalid is it is a required property and you are not passing any value. But we need some error messages to see that it is actually an error. In order to do that, let me hit continue and we go back. Inside the view here, we need to add a div. We'll add a div, give it a class of text danger. This will be a red color, and there is a special tag helper ASP validation summary. We'll change this to model only. Once we have this, what we need is we want to display individual error. So we'll add span here and we have ASP validation for tag helper. Here we want the validation for book.name. We'll give it a class of text danger. We can copy this. We'll do the same for author and ISBN. Once you do this, if you save this, go back and refresh the page. The control comes back here. Let's hit the continue. Whoops, I think there are some changes. We'll just stop this, remove the debugger now, and let's just run the application again. This time, if we go to book, and if we try to create new book, hit the create button, you can see the error message comes right up. I need to show one more thing here. Let me show you that in the next video.